Good morning from the May Valley Trailhead on the south side of Squak Mountain outside Issaquah. This is Steve with my hiking buddy Jeno.
Good morning.
And my hiking buddy Chris.
Hola.
And today, the three amigos are heading up to Central Peak on Squak Mountain. And along the way, we're going to take a detour, if you will, and go out to Debbie's View. We're also going to visit the west peak of Squak Mountain and the Bullitt Fireplace. So quite an adventure planned. We're heading up this way. Fog has rolled in, but daylight's burning. We got to get rolling. Thanks for hiking with us. I wanted to mention the Central Peak Trail. First 2 miles of it, it's one of the better trails in the Issaquah Alps system. Gentle grade, not a lot of rocks or roots. Kind of meanders along here, but it's a fun one to hike. So we'll check in up the line. So it's real interesting on Squawk. There's a seasonal creek, and you cross it, pass with it a couple times, and it is created this canyon or valley that I can't even see the bottom of. It probably goes down 100 feet down there, and you can hear the water way, way down there. I'm standing in an overlook, and we actually run into a spot like this up above that has a little bit better view, which I'll take a video of up there, but real interesting. So way, way down there is the water that's created this large gorge, canyon, valley, whatever you want to say. We're at a viewpoint here. It goes up that way. Our trail's right there. We're approaching the horse gate at 2 miles in. We'll check in up there. So we've come about 2 miles and we've reached a big intersection here, and we're heading up through this horse gate, and as good as the Central Peak Trail has been to this point, from here on it gets pretty rough. It's overgrown in spots, real muddy like this, and we're going to head up this way. It gets a little steeper, and we're eventually going to come to what's known as the Perimeter Trail, and we're going to turn off Central Peak Trail and take the Perimeter Trail out to Debbie's View. So we'll check in up the line here. There's also another canyon view up above. So, Jeno, what time is it?
6:57.
So a little under an hour to get up here. We've been stopping and taking some breaks and talking a lot. Well, one of us has been talking a lot, and the other two have been listening. Haha. And you guys know who the talker is. So anyway, we'll check in up the line. I said this trail was rough and overgrown. This is where we're going here. Watch my footing. And it's steep. Heading up that way. Okay, we'll check in a bit. And we made it to the Perimeter Loop Trail, and the Central Peak Trail goes that way, which we've taken before. But we're going to go this way on the Perimeter Loop. Elevation here is 1548. And we're going to take this for a little ways, and then we'll go to the Debbie's View Trail and take that out to Debbie's View. And it's clouded up. It's not foggy here, but mild and cloudy, so I'm not sure what kind of views we'll have from Debbie's View, but we'll go out there and pay homage to my neighbor Debbie. So we'll check in out at Debbie's View. So that last section of Central Peak up to the Perimeter Trail was quite muddy, steep, but as you can see, the Perimeter Trail that we're on now, it looks like the first part of Central Peak. It's in real good shape. Nice tread. We're heading toward Debbie's View. And we've arrived at the Debbie's View Trail. So 1/10 of a mile out to the viewpoint. Over this way. So I'll take you with me on the last little bit out to Debbie's View. If you don't remember, if you haven't heard the story, there's a couple who lives by me, Debbie and Greg, and they're avid hikers. And from talking to them one day, I mentioned that I had come up here and kind of in the last few years since I retired discovered Squak Mountain. And we were talking about it, and Debbie was talking about all the trail work she's done, and she goes, and there's a viewpoint named after me. And I mean, I never had put two and two together, and so anyway, it's kind of neat that the Debbie of Debbie's Viewpoint fame is one of my neighbors. but I'm looking out through the trees here as I approach the viewpoint, and it is really clouded up. So I don't think we're going to have a lot of views today, but it is nice to just come out here and check things out. And there's a couple hikers here, so I'll shut off for a minute. Well, it's a little hazy this morning, but you can kind of make out Mount Rainier. And down below us, the banks of fog that are down at lower elevation. And we've got a touch of blue sky way up above, but not as clear as I thought it would be. Jeno, my friend, what time is it?
7:26.
So about 20 minutes quicker coming this way than the Margaret's Way. The two guys that were here ahead of us came up via Margaret's Way this morning, and so we chatted with them for a bit. One of them was a Brit from London. Jolly good show. Anyway, we're going to take a break here. Have a snack and some water, and then we'll continue on our way. We're going to go up to the west peak of Squak Mountain, which, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, it has an old, I don't know what you want to call it, a shack, a cabin, a clubhouse that has been knocked down, but pieces of it are there, so we'll take a film of that on the way up to West Peak. But so kind of a clouded view this morning, but still great to be out here. Okay, we'll check in a while. So we've come out to where Debbie's View Trail starts. We're going to take the West Peak Trail up to the top of West Peak and eventually the Bullet Fireplace, and then over to the summit of Central Peak. That looks familiar over there, Chris. That's over to Margaret's Way if we went that way. So, but we're going up this way, up to West Peak. Gets steep up here in a few spots, so I'm not going to film till we get up to the structure. Okay, we'll check in up there. So we've reached the summit of West Peak of Squak Mountain, and here is the remains of, I don't know if it's a cabin or what. There's wood back over there, Chris, and all around here. But some was here, a pretty good sized structure from the looks of it. And it's all just, there's wood all over the place. It's been knocked down. You can see the floor joists there. But I don't know. I don't know if it was a shack, a cabin, what. It looks like it was green based on the green paint on some of the remnants of it there. But this is the summit of West Peak of Squak Mountain. No views up here. Neither West Peak or Central Peak have views, but they both have interesting things to look at. This has this shack or whatever it is, and then Central Peak has all the radio towers. So I see Jeno coming up through the trees, and so from here we've got to descend down to, I don't know if it's a former road or a railroad grade, but we've got a steep descent coming up with a lot of rocks and roots. And the last time Jeno and I were up here, a root reached up and grabbed my ankle and tripped me, so I'm not going to film till we get down to the section in the middle, and then we're going to climb back out. So we've kind of got a notch to go down in, and then we'll climb back out and eventually hook up with the Central Peak Trail again. So we'll check in a bit. So I wanted to mention last week Jeno and I were doing the Little Side Trail, and up on the Boulder Garden Loop I was leaning into my poles because it's quite steep, and I snapped this carbon fiber pole. So my good buddy Jeno, proprietor of the world famous Geno's You Break 'em, We Fix 'em shop in Maple Valley, took it home and put this bolt in it, so it works fine today. Thanks, Jeno.
It was an all-day job too.
Thanks, sir. And Chris discovered that this shack or whatever it is had a cable, a frayed cable going into it, so there was something up here at one time, but it's obviously gone now. But that's interesting. We didn't notice that last time we were up here. Okay, we got the big descent ahead of us. We'll check in down at the road or railroad grade or whatever it is. So we're descending into this valley, which is coming up here, and then we are going to go back up out on the other side, up this ridge over here. So this is steep, a lot of roots. So I'm not going to film very long. I don't want to fall. I'm sure if this was Running Wild with Bear Grylls, he'd be running down it with some celebrity, but not for me. Okay, we're going to film down at the base down here. So we've come from this hillside. We're in the base here, and then we're going to head up around this tree, and we're going to go straight up this hillside. But when you're down here and looking, I don't know, Jeno, do you think this was a road or a railroad grade at one time? It's pretty level through here and between these two hillsides. But okay, we've got one last major climb ahead of us up to this ridge top, and then we're going to descend the other side, and then we're going to hook up with the Central Peak Trail again. We've just kind of done a detour off of it, added some mileage, and we'll hook up with it again, and then we'll check in down there at that intersection. So we've reached the intersection with the Central Peak Trail again. We've come from up that way. There's Chris. The Central Peak Trail, where we cut off of it to take the perimeter trail, it's quite muddy, as you can see here. This is going back toward that intersection with the perimeter trail. We went out, we went out to the west and went around, and I see my buddy Jeno way up on that hillside coming down. God, we've done some up and down here, but we are going to head off this way and connect up to the Bullitt Fireplace trail and go up and visit the Bullitt Fireplace, which a lot of neat trails up here. Bullitt Fireplace and Central Peak, and our elevation here a little bit under 1,800 feet. So we're heading this way, and we'll check in at the Bullitt Fireplace, and I'll fill you in a little bit on the history of that when we get up there. Okay, see you in a bit. And here it is, the Bullitt Fireplace. It is a massive rock structure. I'm over 6 feet tall. I'm going to walk up to it here. It's got to be close to 20 feet. You know, I didn't notice before that this foundation's pretty good sized here, or this slab that we're on. So basically the story of the Bullitt Fireplace, the Bullitt family, who owned King 5 for a while, or a long time, and then was very instrumental in Seattle arts community and a lot of philanthropy. They bought close to 600 acres up here and built a cabin, and then for whatever reason they didn't use it much, and vandals kind of attacked it, and eventually it burned down, and the only remains of it is this fireplace. And then the Bullitt family, to their credit, donated all this land they owned to the state, and that became Squak Mt State Park with all these wonderful hiking trails. So kudos to them. But this is a massive fireplace. It's huge. You can't even get it in the frame in one shot here, and I'm pulled back as far as I can, but kind of interesting to come up and look at it. So we are going to head up the trail to Central Peak. From here to Central Peak, it's about a half mile, but boy, the trail gets real rough. It's overgrown and needs some TLC, and then we're going to be up at Central Peak with the vast array of radio towers up there. So we'll check in at Central Peak when we get up there. Okay, one last look at the fireplace. And I noticed as I pulled up, it's getting blue sky up above us here. Nice. After being socked in down there at Debbie's View. Okay, we're going over this way. Check in up at Central Peak. Here's a better shot of the fireplace, the full size of it. You can really see how big it is. Okay, off to Central Peak we go. So from the Bullitt Fireplace to Central Peak, the trail is it's a bit rough, overgrown. A lot of mud today. Jeno and I came up here about a month ago, and everything was dried out, and today it's real mucky. And some of the trails like this one, the ones that are rough and in need of some TLC. I mean, I'm looking up the line here, and big mud puddles up ahead as we head down this little stretch, and then we're going to climb right up the last little bit up to Central Peak. But kind of see up ahead the water on the trail and the mud, but we're getting there. Can't see the radio towers yet, but we're pretty close. Okay, I'll check in up at the summit of Central Peak. Hiking in the Northwest in the spring. Muddy. Right after I stop filming, here's the next mud hole, and it is a mud hole. Holy moly here. Sinking down and climbing back out. This is Central Peak Trail. Pretty rough through here. Up to the Central Peak, you can see all the roots and the mud overgrown in spots, so just follow the trail. Oh gosh. Listen to my shoes. I bet you some people would pay money to come up here and have a mud bath. We're doing this for free, so. Okay, we're heading toward the sun. Central Peak right ahead. We'll check in there. Climb up this slope. After the slog through the mud, we've arrived at Central Peak with its array of radio towers. And this one is really tall. A couple hundred feet from the looks of it. Squak Mountain. As I mentioned earlier, there's no views up here. The sun has cleared off those clouds real nice. It's a real nice morning. And you can see the towers here. Looking at all of them. So it's interesting because over in this direction is east toward Tiger Mountain, and a few weeks ago Jeno and Chris and I were up at Poo Poo Point, and Jeno looked to the west and you could make out these three towers because this is the tallest point on Squawk Mountain, I believe, and they've got these radio towers here and all these collection of buildings. So unfortunately there's no views for us other than the towers, but if we had a view this way we'd be able to see Poo Poo Point, and as you can see, it's gotten really nice. Blue sky, and we're going to take a break here. So, Chris brought up a snake of some sort. Where'd you find that?
Bush.
In the bushes? Some kind of, what is it, a cable?
Conduit.
Oh, a conduit, okay.
It's copper line. It's really unusual.
Okay, we're waiting for the third amigo. We're going to take a break here, and I'm guessing we're going to head down the road, cut some time off, and complete our loop today. There's an access road up here, so this area can be serviced. You can actually see some of the tire tracks of vehicles that have come up here, and it's all fenced off. But the first time we came up, we ran into a couple guys coming up in their cars or trucks, and the last time nobody. So, but it saved some time going by the road. So we'll check in. Okay, we're having too much fun. Here's the towers. There's a lot of them. There's got to be 5 or 6 of them. Okay, we're heading down the road. It's steep, and we'll check in somewhere down the line. We've only seen the 2 hikers today, and I'm guessing that's going to be it. This is not a popular way to come up. We're taking it to save some time and just kind of go a big loop today instead of reversing our trail. So we'll check in down below. This is Steve checking in one final time as we are approaching the parking lot. It's about 9:15. We think we'll be there in about 10 minutes, but great hike today. We did see another hiker heading up this road. So the total was 3 hikers, 2 out at Debbie's View and then 1 on the road. And we just did a big loop here, roughly, I think, 7 miles. But not a lot of views today. It's cleared off nice now. We were joking we need to go back to Debbie's View now for the view, but just a great day. Temperatures are mild and definitely in spring, and glad to see some sunshine, and great hike. We were talking, there are 3 Issaquah Alps, Squak Mountain, which we're on, Cougar Mountain and Tiger Mountain, and for whatever reason Squawk seems to be the forgotten one of the 3 Issaquah Alps. We never run into people on these hikes over here. It's very nice compared to what we would have seen this morning at Tiger or Cougar. So anyway, that's about it. I'm going to put the camera away as we get close to the parking lot and just say thanks for hiking with us. If you like the video, more content coming this summer under Hiking Man Steve. Subscribe if you will, and we'll see you next time. One last quick note, they're getting pretty close to opening Chinook and Cayuse Pass down at Mount Rainier on the east side. I think they're estimating the end of this month, so when we get to June, we'll be heading to Rainier a lot. And also going to head further out along I-90 here. We've kind of been hiking close in this spring, but more to come. Anyway, again, thanks for hiking with us. We'll see you next time.